August the 4th, 1984, and we bought the house on Hewson Road, and we paid £16,000 for it. It was home when we walked into it. We've got the common, we can go to Bailgate and in town within 5-10 minutes. There was a lot of flats down Hewson Road, more than there is now. Lots of students from Bishop Grot and the Theology College. And we used to have quite a lot of ministers and trainee vicars living in the area. We also had the Women's Refuge in the West End, and we had a lot of people who would come into rented accommodation and then move out quite quickly. There wasn't so many cars. You knew your neighbours, you knew really everybody who lived in your street, and you could walk anywhere and have a conversation. We had a good selection of shops. Bottom of Hewson Road, there was like a general store. There'd be the post office on Richmond Road and a post office at the corner of Westcliff Street. There used to be a very small little row of terraced houses going towards the Horse and Jockey, and one of those used to be a chip shop. We used to have a florist shop, Topham Moor Street, and that was very successful, and then it closed and went to be a upholstery shop. Then there was Kevin and Arthur, John Gimson at Chemist. There used to be newsagents down Newland Street West. Curtis's on Carlone Road near the traffic lights. A good corner shop, Charlesworth Street. It used to be a good shop. Then there used to be Smith's Chip Shop, where the West End Chip Shop is now. So we had a good selection of shops.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Well, we don't have a post office now, but we used to have two. And there was upheaval when the one on Carlone Road shut.
I bet there was.
We used to have working parties to clean the pond out, and all the children would go and help, and the dads would go and dig the pond out, pull the rubbish out, tidy around it. It was wonderful. It was really good. You'd have a football pitch and a rugby pitch this end. But big bowls club, tennis, all sorts on there. But there was no trees around the cricket pitch. On big elm trees, up Aldermans Walk and all the way round. And if you walk up Aldermans Walk, you'll see a dip. And that's where the roots used to be.
Oh, that's sad, isn't it?
But they got the Dutch elm, so they had to come down. Tommy the Shetland pony, he was a beautiful little black little pony on the common. Loved children, very crafty, could open any gate. He would follow you up anywhere. He'd go up Aldermans Walk if he fancied it. He'd walk down West Parade if he fancied it. He was a character. He'd go in your gardens and eat the gardens. It was lovely. And it didn't matter what they put on the gates, he opened them. He was a right little character, it was lovely. Then there was a lady down Hewson Road called Mrs. Tiggy. When we moved in, she was very old. And she always used to have a coffee morning at St Faith's for, I think it was the Children's Society. And it was always called Mrs. Tiggy's coffee morning. Richard Shaw was the vicar at the time, and he always reminded me of a French pastor because he always used to wear a little hat. He was quite small and always wore black, and he just looked like a little French pastor. He was a lovely, lovely, lovely gentleman, he was. Really nice. I heard stories about chapel, because I went to chapel for 20 years, and they'd talk of the big Sunday school outings, the big festivals we would have at chapel. Also when there was the typhoid outbreak, a lot of water was, I don't know if they took the water there and people collected it from the chapel, but there are photographs of children stood with water buckets outside on corner of Hampton Street, West Parade.
You know the typhoid epidemic?
Yeah.
Can you, about when was that? Was it just
I
after
think
the First World War?
Yeah, early 1900s. And there was a swimming pool on, if you go right down on to the golf course, in the bottom corner, there's swimming pools. And the people who'd got typhoid were in St George's, and they'd go swimming there for exercise. But a lot of the people were hospitalised at St George's, and the lights were put across the common for the nurses in the war.
Oh, really?
To see, so the nurses could see to get back into the city. Of course, you've got the Victorian bottle bank down there as well. And you know where the golf club house is? When it was the war, the Second World War, they built a big brick wall across Carlane Road with just a small gap.
Did they?
For defence?
One person I can remember, he drove up Hewson Road and he forgot about the corner and went straight through the wall at the top. And he lived on Richmond Road. His mother wasn't very pleased. But he wasn't injured, you know, he was fine. But the trees on Hewson Road in summer met in the middle of the road and made like a tunnel all the way from the bottom to the top.
Wow.
And it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful that was. And then they said that the roots of the trees were disturbing the pipes and the drainage, and they weren't healthy, and they were just going to cut them down. They shut Hewson Road for about 6 weeks and put new drains down the middle of it. I think there would be about 88, 89, and they wanted to take the trees down, and we all protested. They took the trees down, and then they put the new hornblower tree in, but they don't meet in the middle.
No.
And it was beautiful. It was like a beautiful golden green tunnel from top to bottom. It was lovely, it really was. Carry on. Now, the Steep Hill one, I was at the Art College at Christ Hospital Terrace. I think it is still the Art College now, I'm not sure. And it'd be 1978, and it was very bad snow that year. And I was in my second year of hairdressing, and they got a phone call saying, heavy snow coming, you're shut in the college, everybody had to go home. And we'd have to catch the 102 bus out to Nath Park to get home, you know, and to come in. And me and my friend very foolishly thought we'd link arms, be very safe, we wouldn't fall. And we just turned the corner, and as you come round Christ Hospital Terrace, it's very steep, and more steep than what you think. And we'd linked arms, and both our feet went, and we eventually got up off our bottoms at the bottom of the straight, and we went right down Steep Hill, the cobbles, the lot. But good thing was there was a very good blanket of snow, but two very giggling, silly 18-year-olds who couldn't get up for laughing and who actually missed the bus home. But it was, and I can remember snow here, snow up here. When Emma was at St Faith's School, at the infant school, really bad snow, and everybody took the children to school on sledges and left the sledges outside the school door. And then we'd all go pick the children up and go to the top of the common and go sledging.
Okay.
I remember a little boy coming down and he went straight into a tree and broke his leg. But I can't think who he was. And the head teachers at the infant school was Mrs Pam Hill when I came, and the head teacher at the junior school was Mrs Morris. Then we had the park and ride campaign. That was a bit scary because we went to a public meeting and there was no room in the grandstand whatsoever. People were stood, they shouted, the councillors ran out, and it got a bit heated. It was...
What was that all about?
Well, they wanted to turn the common into a park and ride area, and it was a bit... Nowhere was they touching our common. And like it was with the race course, when they wanted it, but that other was a bit fiercer. This time we'd learnt and we did it a bit more calmly and respectful, I think. But it was, they'll never get their hands on our common.
No.
It's too beautiful. And it's lovely to hear the owls on it when you're walking your dogs at night, especially in the far corner.